Hey everyone, welcome to Living with Positivity. This is Jill Richards. Today we're going to be talking all about hormones and balancing your hormones. And this is the part 2 episode of the previous video that I made on natural birth control. And it was really exciting because I got a lot of amazing feedback and comments, and I'm looking forward to responding to your comments in another video. I've just been so busy I couldn't get around to it this week. But yeah, so we're going to be talking all about balancing your hormones. I have been off birth control for about a year and a half, and it's funny because I realize now how much happier I am now. I didn't realize when I was on birth control, but I was actually really sensitive. You could make me cry very easily. I was very moody. It could be because I was in music school and I was going through a lot of stuff, but I believe that I was just a very moody and sensitive person. So I realize now how happy I am, and it feels nice to have the tools to control and balance my hormones. Since using the Pearly, I have realized that my cycles were very long. They were about 34 to 35 days long, and through herbs I have actually been able to lower my cycle length to the typical or the standard. Well, nothing's standard. Everyone's unique and everyone has unique cycles, but to about 28 to 29 days, which is a very healthy cycle length. So most of the information that I'm basing my information, I can't talk today, I'm basing my information on research that I've learned from the Women's Wellness University, as well as through their blog. And their blog is an amazing resource for information on learning how to empower yourself and empower your body. They actually have a blog based on balancing your hormones. And they talk about foods to avoid. So they talk about avoiding coffee on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, because that causes your blood sugar levels to spike and crash. So if you have to drink coffee, I would do that after you eat food, but I would also recommend drinking tea because tea is amazing. Also avoid dairy because there's hormones in milk, and studies have shown that the countries who drink the most amount of dairy, well, first of all, the countries that drink the most amount of dairy have the highest rates of osteoporosis and hip fractures. And I read that in the China study, which is an amazing book. One of the most comprehensive, important books about nutrition I could say that's out there today. But it also talked about in that book how the countries who drink the most milk, the girls actually get their periods at a younger age. So 10 to 12 years old, or 10 to 14, and the countries who drink the least amount of milk get their periods later. And that actually has implications for your health and how long you live. Those who got their periods later in their life actually live longer. And I got my period when I was about, I think, 10 or 11. I was drinking a lot of milk because I believed it was important to make my bones strong. But I know where I like to get calcium straight from the source, and that is from leafy greens. But anyways, in the blog they also talk about hormone imbalances from toxins and pesticides. So using antibacterial soaps, they behave and they mimic estrogens in your body. And so it's important to think about all the toxins that we're putting in our body and how we can eliminate them, whether that is changing your detergent for your laundry, or changing the soaps that you use, the shampoos that you use, and finding more natural ways to go about that. Constipation is bad for hormonal health because estrogen cannot leave your body, and you have all this excess estrogen. So I would recommend a fruit and plant-based diet to keep things flowing. Eating fermented foods is great, and mineralizing your body is great as well. The reason why we have cramps is because we have a lack of minerals in our body. So eating things like dark chocolate, which has magnesium and is just heavenly. I just want to eat chocolate all day. Cramp bark tea, you can make dandelion root tea. Lady's mantle is good. Red raspberry leaves and rose petals are great herbs for balancing hormones. What I did to balance my hormones was I took a Vitex tincture every morning for about 2 months, and that is how I actually got my cycles down to 28 to 29 days. And I noticed that I had a hormone imbalance because my cycles were long. Also, I'm still recovering from like the hormonal chin acne, but since implementing these herbs, I've noticed a difference, and I hope that my skin can like fully clear up. So I would definitely recommend Vitex as the #1 hormonal balancer, as it has helped me. It tastes kind of gross. It has like a sagey, flowery taste, but it's powerful. And as always, I would recommend you doing your own research, because these things work for my body, but you have to incorporate herbs very slowly into your system if you haven't done so before. And I would do the research, find out what you're allergic to. Obviously, I can't be responsible for your health because I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert in any of the stuff that I'm talking about. I just am telling you what works for me, and I'm trying to inspire you to take charge of your life and your health and empower yourself. So hopefully this was a good source of information for you, to inspire you to continue to do some research and to balance your hormones, because balancing your hormones really affects your happiness, and we all want to be going through this life happy, love-filled, inspiring people,